Hello everyone, it's another video from the man you know who's only about greatness. I'm gonna make this a quick video. I just wanna have something to rant about, man. But full of knowledge at the same time. I just don't rant without talking about something that's knowledgeable to people. I'll take this off. It's not sunny anymore. So I just have something to talk about, like because I'm hearing a lot of all these especially like returnees, people who are based in America, like African Americans, some of them even just Africans that went there, coming back and talking about America is on the decline and all that, and that's the reason why they have to run to Africa and all that stuff. I think that's a wrong approach. That's the wrong way to view at this. I don't think America is going through a process right now of readjustment. I don't think America will decline. That if you bet on America declining, you're gonna lose. You know why? Because white people don't like to lose. You gotta give them credit for that. They don't like to lose, and they will fight and fight to make sure that America remains on top, because they don't want to be somebody, some either Chinese or black or whatever, to rule the world. They want to be on top of the world, and if it means they're gonna blow up the whole continent just to stop from being on top of the world, they'll do it. That's the mentality, which I think it should be applauded. I wish black people had the same mentality, wanting to be the greatest. I'm just tired of people. That's the wrong mentality, man. You can't be thinking, oh, America is on a decline and let's go to Africa. That's wrong. You should go to Africa because you believe in Africa's progress. You shouldn't go because you're running away from, oh, America is on the decline and all that stuff. And here's the thing, because I personally believe the people that should move to Africa right now, whether you are in the diaspora, either you got a service that you're offering, mainly, in other words, I'm saying entrepreneurs, either a bunch of doctors come together, they come to Africa, open up a hospital. There's people in Africa, and they're going to be billions more to be born. Apparently, at the turn of this century, the end of this century, I think 1 in every 4 people will be African. So there's an opportunity there. You can leave your legacy. If you want where you are right now, there's statues already. Go to Africa, do something, and people will put up a statue for you. You have to do that because you want Africa to be great. Not because America is on decline. If you are betting on that, you're wrong. America will never be on America will never decline, and I'll put my word on that. Because these guys are connected. Here's one thing you have to realize. Europe is a very small continent, but the people from that small continent ended up taking all of the Americas. They ended up taking South America. They ended up taking North America. It's all theirs. They've taken that. You can have, there's Latinos and whatever. All I see president of Brazil, white. President of Argentina, white. They also even took Australia. It's a very small continent, and they've ended up doing this. So do you think they're just going to give all that up to say, oh, some Chinese now is going to control the world? Hell to the no. They will fight and fight because they have that spirit. The spirit they have is to be the best. For you guys who are African Americans, it's very clear now to everyone that America is not for you. America wasn't built for you. Everyone else has fun in America. Someone, we can have like, Italians had an issue, a little bit of a problem when they came in. Yeah, they did. But there's a difference. Even the Irish people had a problem when they came into America. If anything, the first ghetto that was created was for the Irish. But you know what? An Irish person can get an education or can make money and move up and go buy a house in the suburb, and people ain't going to move out. We all know that when African Americans started doing well and started buying houses in places like Beverly Hills, people started moving out. Because no one wants to be close to you. You know, and it's now very clear that these killings of, this is not new. It's been happening for years. You know, if the police wasn't written yesterday, it was written almost 2 decades ago, or over 2 decades ago. You know why it was written? It was talking about the same thing. The police officers don't treat you well because they don't consider you. They don't consider that to be your country. Every other person in America is welcomed except you. We go there because we believe it's this illusion. There's an illusion of acceptance, but in reality, you're not accepted. Let's just be real. You are not accepted. The thing is, what you have to think now is, okay, this is what white people do. White people will fight to be number one. And I applaud them for that. We can go on about, oh, they did this to us and they did this to us. A white man did what a white man had to do to survive. There was issues going on in Europe. There was so many issues going on. There was, plagues and everything. So they had to do what they had to do to survive. And they did it. What did you guys do to survive? That's the question we have to start asking ourselves. What did we actually do to make our race successful? I'm tired of all these people complaining all the time. White man did this, white man did that. Yeah, I get it. But what are we doing to prevent that from happening again? What are we doing to make sure that we prosper? What are we doing to make sure that our race gets uplifted and we can compete with anyone at the same level? If someone brings up like a carrier at sea, that's massive. We put up also a carrier at sea, that's massive. Let's go head to head. But that's not what we're doing. Let me tell you something. China, because I just told you, people from a very small continent ended up taking over the whole of Americas. They even took some parts in Africa. And they took Australia. They did well. They had to do what they had to do to survive. Okay? China was locked in. China was a very locked country. They were not letting their people to go out and all those things. Right now, but the Chinese, in that period, they were taught a lot of things about savings, about work ethic. They got taught that. They got taught to be nothing but great. Okay? Now, the Chinese have gone back and read colonial books, right? How it was all done. How that benefited Europe. They've read that and they've realized they need to do the same thing. But obviously, it's different times. How do we go about doing this? That's why you find the Chinese are everywhere, funded by their government. I was in Vanuatu on a holiday, and most of the places they want to, they are controlling that. They're building all these fancy hotels where the Chinese will go on holiday. Mauritius is already gone. Mauritius, it's either Indians or Chinese. Africans there are being treated like second-class citizens. Jamaica, I think they're controlling that. A lot of parts. Africa itself, it's the Chinese now controlling it. South Africa, Zambia, all these countries now are almost entirely run by the Chinese. Economically, they're controlling that. They are in the Congo. The Congo is the richest continent in terms of natural resources on the planet. It's still poor. The Chinese are going there and they're going to take over because the Congolese have failed to do one thing, is to develop their country. They've failed to fight something white people are good at. White people will protect what's theirs. Black people, we don't. And this is what I'm saying. All these marches and doing all this stuff to be accepted, it's not the way to go. You can march till the fat let singing. Nothing is going to happen. What you need to do is to make sure Africa prospers. It's every black person on this planet. Instead of trying to be part of a society that's not really yours. You can say, oh, there's Italians, there's there's French, there's English, there's this, there's that, and then you got there's Brazilians and all that stuff. At the end of the day, all these guys' businesses, they're all connected. Sweden is they got shares in America, they got shares in England, in Australia, Belgium. All these countries, they're all connected, trying to work together, for the common good, which is their prosperity. Putting prosperity first is something even the mafias do. The mafia used to, like when they were the height of the mafia era, they split New York, I think, in 4 families: the Gambino family, the Lucchese, and all these families, because they realized one thing: in fighting, no one wins. So why don't we split this place? Even the leaders of these groups will meet up and try to talk about the problems they are facing, because they realize one thing: peace, it means we all make money. If we fight each other, we all lose. There is no winning in fighting each other. So here's what the Chinese are doing. The Chinese understand one thing: it's about taking over. We control everything economically. What are you guys doing as Africans? What are you doing to fight for something? If God gave us a continent, the richest continent on the planet, He gave that to us. If you believe in God, or whatever you believe in, the bottom line is Africa is for Africans. But we are not developing it because we all trying to run away. That's not what's going to prosper. Our business game is all wrong. I'll give you an example. Nigeria has the right population, 200 million people. They have oil. They have all sorts of things happening there. And on top of that, they have land, green land. They can grow everything. But they're not doing that. Oil, Dubai has oil, Saudi Arabia has oil, Qatar has oil and gas, and which Nigeria also has, or the whole United Arab Emirates. Look what they've done with their oil. They don't even have land, but look what they've done with their oil. In Nigeria, they actually had 2 processing plants. They never used those processing plants because it was hard for them to employ Nigerians, in their thinking. It was hard for them to employ Nigerians into these processing plants, and pay them well, let them have a good life, look after their families well. Have engineers, from chemical engineers to mechanical engineers, because you gotta design the whole plant and all these things. All sorts of engineers working there. No, they couldn't do that. What was the easiest way to do? Is to sell crude oil. Because when you sell crude oil, the opportunities of you stealing money increases. So billions of dollars started going to one group. Instead of creating jobs for thousands of jobs and pay them maybe even $200,000 a year, one person, they shut down those plants so they can sell oil, crude oil, and then import oil that's been refined. So all the 2 refineries could have actually been able to produce enough oil at least to provide for the local demand. No, they couldn't do it. Nigeria produces oil, but they used to have no oil at petrol stations. So what are we doing here? All we keep doing is marching and complaining. White person did this. In Nigeria, at that moment, white man was doing what white man had to do. What was the Nigerian man doing for his people? Nothing. They wanted to make money for themselves. He was doing something for himself and his family, but not for the whole community. And that is our problem. It's just all wrong. The whole business mentality is wrong. And now Nigerians have oil and they're in poverty. Which is forcing them, like Kathy says, poverty creates a con artist sort of mentality, which is what has happened in Nigeria. Nigerians, these guys, if you go to New York, you go to all these places across they're doctors, engineers, whatever, very highly educated. And yet, they can't just come together and fix the country at home because of all the issues. Everyone wants them to take the money. No one is thinking of developing the whole country for the benefit of the people. Everyone wants to take. Imagine. I was watching something that happened a few years ago. I think there was they had a new bank of like the governor of not the governor, but it was like a Reserve Bank manager or something like that of Nigeria, who exposed some money just in that year, about $20 billion been stolen. Been stolen. There's already about $4 or $5 billion in Swiss accounts that was put there by some Abacha, and the government of Nigeria can't get this money because apparently the Europeans are getting better lawyers than them. Come on, you could bring that. There's so many channels you can use to make sure that that money comes back to the people of Nigeria. You're not doing it. Because everyone wants to steal. No one is thinking about their own people. If Nigeria has a potential to be in the top 5 superpowers, to be one of the biggest economies in the world, they have the right population and they have the right things. They have the right resources. United Arab Emirates, they can do it. Right now, people flock to go and work there. From all over the world, white, Chinese, they all want to work. They all want to go and work in Saudi Arabia. They all want to work in United Arab Emirates. Because the employment is there. They're not democratic, but the employment is there. And the people are well looked after, and these countries are developing. In Nigeria, a politician would rather have a house in Saudi Arabia. in Dubai than build with his own people. What sort of nonsense is that? These are the people we're having as politicians, and but we can't even blame politicians. These politicians come from our community, so whatever they do is what the community that raised them taught them. I'm just gonna bring it real, man. I'm gonna bring it hot. We gotta be honest about this. I watched a video that I watched from Kenganda. Shout out to Kenganda, Duke Jackson. They're doing an amazing job. Where a Chinese man is talking to a Congolese guy, and I know a lot of Africans gonna hate that China man, but that China man is telling the truth. I watched it. I'm like, this guy is telling the truth. When the Belgians left Congo, just like a lot of countries in Africa, they left a lot of infrastructure there. It was already there. And I know it's not that they left, but whatever happened after that happened because we let them do it to us. The killing of Patrice Lumumba, some of the Congolese were involved in that. Because if we all stood up and said, no, there's no way Patrice Lumumba was going to die. And then we can say, okay, then we had Mobutu Sese Seko, who was just terrible. I get it, right? And we can say, okay, countries like Singapore, they were lucky, they had Lee Kuan Yew, so they established something there, and okay, that's good. But when Mobutu Sese Seko left, you've had a few more leaders, and how come the country is not going anywhere good, fast? The infrastructure have gone down. You haven't made them better. This is the richest country in terms of natural resources in the continent. And it's still, let me use Trump's words, a shithole of a place. Let's just be real. It's terrible. I'm just tired of these people trying to march and always trying to say, oh, this has happened to us. These things happen because we let them happen. The Chinese man is coming, and what the Chinese man is trying to do is to do what he gotta do to survive. What are you doing as a black person on this earth? What are you doing? You have the richest continent, and yet you've accepted poverty and begging. Come on, let's be real. Everywhere you go, let me tell you something. African American, African in the diaspora, African on the continent, African in the Latin community, African in Europe, African in Australia, African in Japan, African in Asia, wherever. You have no friend. Get that? You have no friend. People will only respect you if we were to develop Africa, because that's the way they judge us. This Chinese guy told this Congolese guy the truth. Your infrastructure, you've gone backwards. And the Congolese guy wants to justify, oh, it's only 50 years. Yeah, 50 years, but you haven't even progressed 10%. You've gone backwards. 50 years is enough to develop a country. Singapore did it. Malaysia did it. You know, these countries 50 years ago were poorer than Congo and Kenya. Today, their economies are 3, 5, 7 times bigger, some even 10 times bigger than the economies which were better when the Belgians left, or when the British left, if in case of Kenya, or even Zambia. You know. So we're going backwards, and we accept that. You know, the biggest problem is that we are not on code. There's no code trying to bring Africans together. I like what Dr. Arikana Chiombori is doing, and I think every African should register for what she's doing, and let's put our resources together and start doing projects in Africa. We need to develop that continent. If you develop that continent, no one is going to mess with you. Imagine what's happening right now. If Nigeria was a superpower, Nigeria could just say, nah, could tell the Americans and say, you know what, this is terrible. You can't be treating our people like this. Because if Nigeria was a superpower, probably like you'd be controlling some sort of economy around the world, maybe 20, 30%. You know, just like China is trying to use, like if you look at the relationship between China and Germany, car sales across the world, 40% for most German brands is in China. And China is trying to leverage that to get something. So they are holding all these countries, say, you know, we got business here. If you want to deal with us, you got to do this. You know, Nigeria could be doing the same thing. If you got to deal with us, you got to treat black people in America well. You got to treat black people in America better. You know, and the black people will have a home to come to. You know, and this is what I'm trying to say. We should be on code. Every other race, they're on code. You know, I've heard people get shot in America. The police officer that shoots them is able to raise millions of dollars because his people are on code. They know what they're doing. You know, they sponsor these people. They get the best lawyer. That's why they never get arrested, because they got money to splash and get the best lawyers out there. You know, we are not on code. The Chinese, when they come to Africa, they're on code. They know what they're doing. They work together. They're not working against each other. They're working together. You know, there's people in construction, people in hotels. And like I said, if you look at my previous videos, they even have Bank of China. They're funding their projects. You know, for us Africans, we are out there watching. Again, accepting that second-class citizen. You know, this guy, we should watch this video from Kenganda. The Chinese guy just told the truth. You know, you guys, you get paid today, you go crazy. You go to nightclubs and spend your money, and then you come back asking for loans the following day because you spent all the money. You know, but here's the thing. Most people were like that. White people were like that. The Chinese were like that at some point. But the thing is, they got taught. We need to start creating governments, and we need to start creating communities as using our education system, where from the time some kid starts year 1, we are teaching them about the importance of savings. You know, we can't live like that. We can't live like day to day. You know, they get paid today, you're never gonna even see them for a week, and then they come back. That's not how you develop. We're not gonna develop our countries, our continent, with that kind of mentality. That needs to go. It needs to change if we want to develop. Because believe me, look what happened to the Aboriginals in Australia. They are no more. They have no say, literally. You know, look what happens to the Mayans in South America. No more. The so-called Red Indians, North America, no more. You know, and the Chinese know it's a jungle out there. It's a jungle out there. Only the strong, the smart, and the organized survive. If you don't, you lose. This is not even about, oh, this person did this person did that. They're not even going to care. They're going to come there and stomp on you. You know, and you're going to lose everything. And you're going to be pushed to second, third class citizenship. We have to be on code. We have to be on code. All this idea of, because I don't understand. We are the only people who's trying to fit into other societies and push those people to accept us. It doesn't work like that. Develop your continent. If you want people to accept you, develop your continent. I gotta tell you something. At some point, the Chinese were called dogs by the English in Hong Kong. Dogs and Chinaman this way. White people this way. They were called dogs. They were called subhuman. The same way they called African Americans or Africans in general as subhuman. No one saw them as important. But look at what they've done. Today, the Minister of Finance will visit a European country. Just his presence in that country makes the market perform better. Just his presence. That shows you how they've become important to almost any country. And I just told you, 40% of car sales from German brands are in China. So do you think Germany is just going to give up that relationship? Hell to the no. Because they are making money. And China gives China some sort of leverage. They can use that against achieving some other things from the Germans. What are we doing in Africa? Let's stop getting mad at people. Oh, this person. Just ask yourself, what are you doing? This is what I want. For African Americans, all this marching and all that has to come to an end. Like I've said in my previous video, first of all, if you are just coming to Africa because you are running away that America is declining, you're coming to Africa for the wrong reasons. And believe me, if that's the reason why you want to come to Africa, we're just going to end up creating another third world country or continent. And so don't come because you're running away. Let me tell you something. America will never accept defeat. They will fight and fight until they're on top. Like I said, if it means blowing up the whole continent, they'll do it. And we should have the same mentality. We should at least be able to fight and protect Africa, because that's the only thing we have. That's our motherland. And we should never let anyone come to Africa abuse us. But the only way we're going to stop people abusing us is if we are on code. Our education system changes. That empowers us. A lot of things we need to teach our people. So this is the 21st century. We're moving in 22nd century. Things going to move so fast. It's a jungle. It's a jungle out here. Only the smart and the strong survive. Only the smart, the strong, and the hardworking survive. If you are not, and the organized, the most important part, the organized survive. If you are not on code, we are in trouble, big trouble. To the people in the diaspora, whether it's African Americans that want to come to Africa, this is what I think we should do. If you know you're not business minded, just visit Africa. Don't bother moving there unless you've won lotto or something. Because if you go to Africa looking for work, it's not going to happen. You're better off maybe in America. So, but have a plan where at some point when you retire, maybe you can move there. But I feel like at the moment what we need are people who are entrepreneurs. Those are people should be move there, buy land, start farming, move there, set up businesses, hospitals, shopping malls. There's a China shopping mall. Why don't we have African American shopping mall? That, Jim Morrison, there's a guy called Jim Morrison in America. He did very well. He did this crowdfunding thing. Within like 2 days, he raised like $10 million. So I know people in African Americans have money, but we're just not organized. Marcus Garvey was able to raise probably the first crowdfunding event in the world was done by Marcus Garvey. He put all this money together. The poor people put money together. What's Madam? What's her name? The one who was doing the hair products. She only focused on black people, and she became the first female millionaire in America, if not in the world. Just focusing on black people, and that's all you need to do. I was watching. I've also, there's one thing I've realized. I'm just gonna bring this in. Chadwick Boseman. I think he's done only black movies, and yet I know he's dead. Rest in peace. In Kosi Yamakosi, Wakanda forever, buddy. But I've realized he became a celebrity just doing black movies, and he made a lot of money from it. So we need to find our niche and just focus on developing Africa. And I think the initial part, people that should be moving to Africa are entrepreneurs. You go there, you create jobs. Once you create jobs, now we're going to have the rest of the people coming back. The Chinese have done it. The Chinese are doing the same thing. They're spreading out. What they do is this. There's conferences in China, all across China, where people invest money. They've invested money in Bank of China. They've invested money in projects happening in Africa. The people in China invest that money. But the guys are so on code. When they go to Africa, they are working together and making money for their people in China. Europe did the same thing. JP Morgans and stuff, they were making money for people in Europe. And vice versa at some point. We have to start doing the same thing. We have to start doing the same thing. We have to be on code. That's very important. That's very, very important for our own survival. And for those Africans on the continent, we have to realize that the past 50 years, they've been bad. There's improvement, and we're heading in the right direction. There's some countries you look at, 15 years ago, some places that didn't look so great. But development is how, for me, the way I see it, if you look at the way Rwanda is doing it, Rwanda is developing the whole bowl, everything. Health has improved in Rwanda, which is very, very important. I think they've already added about 20 years what was the lifespan of people in Rwanda, just because they've improved their health so much better. Health is very important. I don't understand why we don't have pharmaceuticals in Africa. We need to improve our people's health. We need to put our people first. If we develop that in our community, then it's going to move to governments. Because one thing I've known, all these presidents come from our communities. And if whatever they end up doing, that's what they got taught in our communities, where they come from. So it doesn't matter who becomes a president, as long as our communities don't change what we teach our kids, we are in trouble. To bring up our kids, teaching them. If we can't get that in school, let's start teaching them at home about how to save money and the importance of that. I just wanted to make this quick video, and thanks for watching. Please click that like button, and more videos are coming. Thank you.